One sec.
I'd like to call this Board of Adjustment public hearing to order. This is Wednesday, September 4th, at 6:30 p.m. Please state your name for the purposes of roll call.
Angel Ramos. Robert Irwin.
Valerie Leary.
Stephen Zor.
Esther Scarpetti.
And we have the attorney,
Maxwell.
Max Walton. Building inspector, Jeff Bergstrom. And city planner, Chris. There we go, sorry. This is to consider the application of, let me read this. Board of Adjustment 2024-03. An application has been filed by Andrew Bradbury and Nancy Petrella, 55 West 8th Street, owner and applicant, for a property located in the R-3 zoning district at 55 West 8th Street, Newcastle, Delaware, 19720, tax parcel number 21-014.00-353, seeking a variance of 13 feet from the code required 15 feet maximum height to construct a garage and studio 28 feet tall. For purpose of the considering of this application, Board of Adjustment will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 4th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the community room of the Newcastle Police Department located at 1 Municipal Boulevard, Newcastle, Delaware, 19720. I believe, are you Mr. Bradbury?
I am.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I am going to pass this to our attorney, Max Walton, to continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My mark for the record, yellow sign. And the newspaper posting for this variance. Yeah, come on. We're rather informal.
It's all good.
At the end of the day, I just want to warn you at the end when I ask you some questions that are, I'll tell you what they're ahead of time, so you can maybe look at it. It's the nature of the zone in which the property lies, like what the adjoining uses are, okay? The character of the immediate vicinity, what's around, right? Whether the restriction upon the property to remove such removal would seriously affect the neighboring properties and uses. What is your exceptional practical difficulty? The reason I'm asking you those questions again is because that's what the test requires for the variance. Okay?
I have a question for you, if I can. Did everyone get the letter that I had all?
We did.
over?
So every member of the board got part of their packet. Maybe I'll just mark the entire packet, which is your application for the Board of Adjustment, your letter, and your signed pieces, and the July 3rd, 2002, I was trying to say 2022, but 2002, variance that was done, or that was granted for your property previously.
Right.
There was also the map that was provided, and I'm gonna mark the packet as Exhibit 3.
Okay.
Floor is yours, sir.
I really don't know what to say, you know?
Well,
You
so tell them
ask
tell
away.
them, tell us what you want to do, and what you want to do, and just go ahead, just tell us what you want to do, and
It's a 2-car garage with a studio
well, actually,
above.
before you do this,
Mhm.
raise your right hand. Can you swear or affirm?
I can swear.
Swear or affirm.
Swear or
that you will
affirm.
tell the truth and for all matters presented this
I do.
year.
Okay. It's a 2-car garage with an art studio above. And essentially, it's just to expand space for my wife and myself. My wife is a 25-year art teacher, but to be honest, she's an artist. But circumstances. And she's retiring at the end of the year and wants to go back to being an artist.
So what's the nature of the property around where you are? Like what are the?
Well,
zoning
that's,
uses?
to be honest with you, that's kind of why I want to build it the way that I want to, because it'll suit more the area around us. You know, there are 2-story homes that are pretty much all around us. My property itself just runs the total length of 8th Street along the railroad track. It's a really odd shape. You can probably see that in the plan. And there's no one else on it. It's just me. So I went around and talked to all the neighbors on 8th Street and some on Clayton Street, and told them my ideas, and rather than wrong keep to the 15 foot, I could do it, but it would be long and kind of look like, end up looking like a chicken coop or something. I didn't like the idea of that, so I wanted to go 2 stories so that I can make this upper story look. Frankly, it's gonna be really nice, you know, it's,
Will it affect the neighboring properties or any uses on the neighboring property?
the only effect that it'll have is increase everyone's property value. Because that's, to be honest with you, that's what I've tried to do for over 30 years on 8th Street. Maintain it and improve it with the likes of Bob Hayes and others around. So I think we've improved that entire area dramatically in the last 3 decades. And that's just what I want to continue to do. Before it was just a jungle. It was, you know, hard to maintain. It was just a mess. So clear it and build something nice there.
So the test requires you to establish exceptional practical difficulty in relation to the property. Does that have anything to do with the nature of the property? Talking about it being long.
It is an odd shape, which is what's made it most difficult is not attaching it. This would have been a lot easier if I could have attached it in a way. But because of the nature of the property, and to be honest, there are 2 200-year-old trees that I did not want to take down. So in order to leave those trees, which are fantastic shade trees, that's why I shifted it off to the side, 60 feet away from the existing property. But there's no real difficulty in any of it, to be honest.
Well, you have to have exceptional practical difficulty to get your variance. So the trees, would the trees be your exceptional practical difficulty?
Yeah.
And the shape of
the
the
shape of the lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the shape, it kind of looks like a elongated boat with a
Yeah,
pointed
exactly.
prow and
It's
the.
like half a banana.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's good.
It took the survey was 3 days to survey.
So will the height variance, if granted, interfere with any of the sight lines of the neighbor?
No.
Oh,
In
that's the
fact,
train track.
yeah, the train tracks run right there. The only one that was gonna, Bob Hayes was actually gonna come here and say how much he's looking forward to. He lives right across the street from me. And unfortunately, he was set to come up the last hearing, but this one we couldn't make. But he's really the one that's most impacted by it. And then Joey Neffy too. He's the biggest one we're ever. Oh, yeah. No, he was a teacher though. He
Oh,
was a
okay.
Teacher for a long time.
Are there any questions from the board?
I'm just looking up on the map thing. But I'm familiar with the property. I've driven by it several times. You used to have a playhouse in the tree.
My son and myself built that. He's 29 now. We look back out at the fond memories, and now I charge rent to the squirrels.
Do they pay up though?
No, they don't.
On-street parking, you know.
I am. Yeah, it's off-street parking. There's way that I've got the design is that the driveway will come in and turn, so there'll be a couple of spots, and then I'll also be able to get my 1987 Pathfinder out of my driveway and into a garage, and maybe I can get it running again.
So are there any-
I have no
I have
question.
no question.
I have no questions, no.
Mr. Rogers, Mr. Bertram?
No questions. So did you have to go through planning though, or so? What was the delay? Was it just?
There was a question about this side yard setback.
Oh,
That
okay.
can be resolved that.
Okay.
Variances don't go to the planning commission before they come here.
Okay, I was just curious about the delay. I mean, it's the other one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, this one.
So the special exception will go before the planning commission before it comes here. There was more.
Oh, okay, okay.
Growing pains by your solicitor.
All right, that's fine.
With that, unless anyone has anything else to add, you have the final word. I'm going to close the hearing and then let the board deliberate.
Oh, I think that I've pretty much done everything I can, looking out for the best interest of the neighborhood.
And then I'm gonna ask if there's any public comment. Since there's nobody here, there is no public comment. With that, I'm gonna close the public hearing or close the hearing and then I guess you look for a motion and call for a vote.
So is there any other commentary on this application? Any concerns?
I have no questions or concerns.
Okay. And Steve, because first of all, I'd like a motion to consider this
Motion to
application.
approve
Motion to approve
the variance.
the variance.
I motion to approve the variance.
Second.
So Steve Zor made the motion. Bob Irwin made the second.
All right, so the 4-point test, if I look at it, the unique conditions of the land or property that demonstrate the zone is not reasonable and applies to it. That's the nature of which the zone in which the property leans. I think the shape of the lot is very unique to the code setbacks. You've already had one variance for that approved. And I think as far as the height variance, there's plenty of houses around you that exceed 15 feet. There's plenty that have garages and living space above it. So I think you fit with what's going on in the area. I don't think it's going to affect any of your neighbors. As far as the character of the immediate vicinity and the uses contained therein, there is like the intended use of this kind of land, right? So it's residential. You're setting up a garage. There's plenty of buildings, like I said, around there with garages that have overtop spaces. And the proposed structure fits the character of the surrounding area. So I think 3 is whether the restriction, if the restriction of the applicant's property were removed, such removal would seriously affect neighboring properties and uses. I don't think this affects any of your neighbors as far as what they can do with their properties, how they enjoy their properties, and their property values. So the structure will not have any adverse effects on the neighborhood since it's for personal use, and there are many structures in the area that exceed 15 feet in height. I'm good with that. And then this one, I always screw up, but let me see if I can get this one right. Whether if the restriction is not removed, the restriction would create exceptional practical difficulty for the owner in relation to his effort to make normal improvements to the character of that use of property which is permitted under the use of the provisions of the ordinance. I never could figure out what that means, but I think if the variance isn't granted, does it affect your ability to use it the way you would like to use your property or people around you would like to use the property? I think. Or am I wrong again? Yes, you can. Always help me with this. Okay.
Do you find that the imposition of the 200-year-old trees is a practical difficulty?
Yes, because I like to see them stay.
And do you find that the oblong nature of the property
Yes.
contributes to the exceptional practice?
You kind of limits the shapes you can build with what you're building. So
And does the fact that otherwise you would have to have on-street parking
another-
affect the practical difficulty?
another good position.
So now that I've asked you these questions, you adopt that as part of the reasons for your vote.
Yes, sir. Okay, so those are my reasons that the 4-point test. I think we should approve this motion or this variance.
I agree. I believe that everything that you said. Good job.
Okay.
So I adopt the reason.
I adopt the reason.
As the reason for my vote.
I adopt this as the reason for my vote.
Yep, you adopt the reasoning previously stated for the reason for my vote. You're adopting his reason.
I'm adopting his reason for my vote.
Got it. And the vote is yes.
The vote is yes.
Angel, so
My vote will also be yes, and I'm adopting Steve's reasons for it.
My vote is yes. To support that vote, I'm adopting the reason that Steve's reasons for the vote.
my vote is yes, and I am adopting the reasons for Mr. Zora stated in answer to the quick check.
So your variance is technically granted, so let me give you the legal end of this.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get my job to put together a decision, which I'm gonna try to do quickly, but I have a lot of hearings next week, so it might not be next week, but I'm gonna try to get it out as quickly as I can. Once that written decision comes out, it's filed in the office of the Board of Adjustment, which is a filing cabinet within City Hall. And the Office of Board of Adjustment, you have 30 days, somebody has 30 days to appeal anybody who has aggrieved by that decision. based upon the public outcry today, I don't believe that's gonna happen. But nonetheless, that's what the law states. I wanted you to know that somebody could challenge it. But, so you will be getting a written decision from the city in due course.
In the next couple of months.
Well,
Hopefully sooner.
we're not, yeah, it'll be within September. I just can't tell you the next
Oh,
week.
okay, terrific.
Okay?
Yep.
With that, Madam Chair, you could have. a
Is there
motion.
any other, I believe we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second,
agree.
so,
Third, fourth, and fifth.
take it back.
Okay, so Erwin made the motion,
Motion.
Scarpity made the second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.
This hearing is adjourned. No, this meeting is adjourned.
Hearing meeting.
This gathering of like minds is.
I have